good morning. Hi, everybody. Miss you all. We're not in our classrooms, but I figured today I would make just a small video to see about how it works. I'll send it to you all, see if you can receive it, play it, and we'll move on from there. So we're just going to go ahead and cover radicals, simplifying radicals, positive and negative, and I'll use the calculators. I realize some of you do not have the calculators at home, so you are welcome to use your phone. I have two cats just are continually fighting and playing around us, so we're gonna do our best. Okay, oh, let me switch it. Miss you guys. Okay. All right, here we go. So, how do I do this? Oh yeah, I have to do it this way. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna find the equivalent to positive and negative radicals. We're gonna find the simplified radical as well as the decimal place to the 10th place. You can do hundredths, it's fine. Just make sure you follow your rounding rules. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go into the radical. So your radicand, which is the 25, that is the number within the radical symbol. You know what the radical symbol is. And your index is 2. We're in integrated math 2, so we're only working with 2. 3, 4, and above, you'll hit with IM3, okay? All right, so if we just get started, we've done the factor tree before, so if you work with a rad of 64, you know that that is 8 plus or minus. And if you have your calculator, I'm not very good at this. I'm going to have to get good over the next few days. Radicals 6, 4 equals, you get your 8. If you were to hit SD, it is a perfect square, so the answer is the same, right? So you guys remember this? You guys are good at it. Okay, if we hit, I'm making up numbers, so I guess that's the part I should covered, right? Oh wait, but I think, hold on. I have them down below, but yeah. Okay, so if we take the square root of 88, right, you can go ahead, if you're using your phone, you could definitely get the decimal, but if you do not have a simplified radical calculator, you can go ahead and do the factor tree, right? So you can go 8 times 11, 8 is 2 times 4, correct? This is a perfect square, right? Because 4 is 2 times 2, and that is a pair, right? So if you're going to use a factor tree, just go ahead and be aware, either break it down completely to the primes, and you're going to look for pairs, or if you can identify a perfect square, you know the square root of 4 is 2. Okay, so you can do it that way as well. All right, your non-pairing, so these are your pairing numbers. Your non-pairing numbers are 2 and 11. They do not have a partner. They don't have a pair, so they are not allowed to come out as an integer, right? Because they're not a perfect square. So this pair number, the number of the pair, which is 2, is the integer, and the numbers that do not have a partner will stay within the radical and they get multiplied. So 2 times 11, right? 2 times 11, because these do not have a partner, no pairs, right? They become 2 times 22. And if you were to grab a calculator, what's the number? 88. The square root of 88, okay, don't do that, equal. The phone's covering, is 2 rad 22, and then if you hit the SD, the scientific to decimal button, you would get 9.38 or 9.4. And so that would be your simplified radical and decimal answer. Now, on the other two, we didn't get the decimal because they were perfect squares, so this is both as well as here as well. Okay. You didn't have problems with this, so we'll move on. All right, if we were to make these same numbers as a negative radicand, so negative 25, right? You guys, it went out of focus. I'll rewrite that. Okay, hopefully you recall that the square root of negative 1 is I, your imaginary number. It's going out of focus. Why is that? There we go. Okay. You're going to hit your imaginary numbers. Yeah. Okay. So if we had the square root of negative 25, right, you would get 5i. It's doing it again. I'm sorry. I don't know if, I think my hand keeps dropping. The square root of negative 64 would be 8i for that negative 1. And then if we had the square root of negative 88, we do know from up above it's 2 rad 22, but this negative 1, right? This is your imaginary, and this is your 2 rad 22. Your I will be written between the integer and the radical. So it will be written as 2i rad 22. Do not put the I in the back, in the rear, because if you accidentally were to elongate, here's what I mean. If you were to elongate your radical, that roof, and you include the I underneath, that is completely incorrect. So it is always preferred that you put the I in front of the radical, but after the integer. So that is where your answer is. I just want to make sure I'm not using the same numbers. I listed all these numbers, but they were for your assignment, not here. Okay, if we take the negative 564, right? If you were to separate, now we're doing basic integrated math 2. Typically, this is not always the case. If you were to take a pure mathematics course in college, this has exceptions, but we're not in college, so we're just going to stick with this. Okay, that's cat hair. Okay, so radical negative 1 is your imaginary I, because we're going to go ahead and go into our complex numbers. All right, 564. The square root of 564, I'm going to have to get better at this, is 2 rad 141, and so 2 rad 141. And so you're going to express the number, right, as, oh, it's my hand that keeps making it go in and out. I'm problem solving here. Okay, so 2i, this would be your simplified radical answer. And if you went for the decimal answer, you would go ahead and hit SD. And by the way, your phones, if you turn it to landscape, you can go ahead and take your radicals. You all know that. 23.7. So it would be equivalent to 23.7i, and those would be your answer. And I apologize, I didn't do it for this one, so I'm sorry for those of you that don't have a calculator. 2 rad 22, 9.4. Yeah, sorry, I didn't do that. Okay, I don't typically teach by video, so I'm sure over days it'll get a little better. I'll upload this, I'll send it to you. I'm thinking also I was supposed to go landscape, not portrait. So this isn't that difficult of a video in terms of the concept, and it's going to be less than 10 minutes. So I'll learn. The next videos, I'll make them landscape. Okay, so here's your practice. I want simplified radicals and decimal form. Obviously, if you don't have a calculator that can turn it into a simplified radical, go ahead and do the factor tree. Take a picture, send it to me through School Loop, through your School Loop account. And if you don't have access to Wi-Fi or internet, just keep your sheets, and whenever you do, just go ahead and just send them all in a big bulk. But preferably I want it day to day, just so I can help process, load in School Loop, and kind of figure out who's watching, who's not. So question number 1 is the square root of 45, 2 is the square root of 84, 3 is the square root of 124, 4 is the square root of 55. And so now 5, 6, 7, and 8 are your negative radicals. I should just reshoot this video. 5 is the square root of negative 81. 6 is the square root of negative 156. 7 is the square root of negative 582. My apologies. And 8 is the square root of negative 147. Yeah, so now I know. I'm glad I did this video, and if I messed it up, my apologies, because it does need to be landscape. Okay. Hi, sorry. I'll learn, I'll get better. But just, I miss you guys, and do your math, don't fall behind. I'm reviewing this last test that we went through. I'll grade them, I'll email them to you, and this is gonna be really weird for me. Just these videos. But just take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and love you guys. Hope we get back soon. Okay, stay safe.